We are learning new details tonight about a lawsuit against the Whirlpool Corporation. Families in the Clyde-Green Springs area filed claims against the company today. This lawsuit stems from results of environmental testing in Sandusky County. The families are scheduled to hold a news conference tomorrow morning. Meantime, the search for what's causing a cancer cluster in the Clyde area continues. Experts are looking into whether something in the air, the soil, or water is getting an unusually high rate of kids sick. The focus for the past 6 months has been on evidence of toxic sludge called PCBs. Crews found them buried at Whirlpool Park. 13 ABC's Christine Long has been digging through records to show you what else the EPA found. Christine.
Diane, the US EPA's contamination investigation is still underway. Over the past year and a half, environmental teams have scoured 14 dump sites, plus an old paint factory that sits right smack in the middle of a residential neighborhood. Raccoon Creek runs next to the old Clyde Paint and Supply Company, which has been closed for years. Last year, the US EPA found several drums of oil and containers of paint inside the building on North Mulberry Street, which the property owner then removed. Outside, the agency got rid of 100 tons of soil contaminated with lead, chromium, and xylene. The xylene, which is commonly used as a solvent, was found in samples up to 4 feet below ground. The report also says PCBs, a known carcinogen, were also found buried at levels exceeding standards for residential property.
It's scary. We have 3 kids and, you got to worry about that.
Heather Holmes lives across the street. Holmes believes the EPA didn't do enough to clean up pollutants at the site, considering the industrial property is surrounded by homes.
Yeah, it's industrial with all the houses around. It's acceptable for who? Not us.
I don't really see anything that shouldn't be there.
Diana Wax lives along the creek. Her land butts up to the back of the old paint factory. Wax isn't worried and supports the search for what could be causing cancer in the small town.
I don't know, I'm hoping that they find something. So far, it doesn't seem like it's gone very, very far as answers for it.
We have reached out to the US EPA with questions about the assessment of the former Clyde Paint and Supply Company site. However, representatives with the US EPA have denied our request for an interview. After passing alongside the Clyde Water Treatment Facility and going directly under the current Whirlpool manufacturing plant, Raccoon Creek then borders the Clyde City dump, which closed more than 40 years ago. According to the EPA, appliances, drummed paint, and auto parts were among the industrial waste disposed at the 25-acre landfill. Testing at the old dump detected arsenic above residential standard levels, but not enough to warrant an industrial cleanup. The US EPA found some of that metal contamination leaking into the creek. However, the amount is actually lower than the neighboring wastewater treatment plant is permitted to discharge into the creek. Is it a public health hazard?
No, I would say not.
The Clyde city manager says the city will install a drainage tile at the dump, even though the US EPA determined no further action is needed.
We are working with the Ohio EPA to divert some of the groundwater, clean groundwater from the east from making its way through the landfill and causing the leachate problems.
So far, there's still no causal link between anything in the environment and the unusually high number of cancer cases, but the investigation continues. If you'd like to read through the US EPA's reports, we have that link on our website, 13abc.com. We've also posted links with US EPA information about acceptable standard levels of those metals we mentioned, plus their possible health risks. Christine Long, 13 ABC Action News.
Toledo Public Schools.